sets up high onto his rib cage, just a really neat look out of the front end of that steer. But even at the ground, he's a powerfully made calf, a lot of circumference to his bone. Get behind him, he's massive and big, really good in terms of the meat animal perspective. And then you put him at the travel, I think he further differentiates himself in the class, because it's hard to find one that's stout and still keep him sound, and that steer does that very, very well. Steer at second, I'll tell you what, he's a big frame, long body calf. He's going to hang a lot of product up on the rail, feeds a lot of muscle out of his top line. I think that steer will open up a great big ribeye when we get him up turned upside down. Calf is going to have a lot of product to it. As you compare him to the class winning steer, I find him a notch more upright in his shoulder. That jams his neck into his rib cage just a little more than maybe I would prefer, but that's sticking on awfully good steer. It's very square made, profile is good. Young lady does a great job getting set up. Calf at third, here's one that's really thick-ended. I like him the most from the rear view, and that calf turns lots of muscle at his top and along the point edge. You can kind of see it even at the side view. Compared to the top pair of cattle, that calf's just shorter enough. It doesn't balance up quite as nice, maybe not quite as much show ring presence out here as you find in those top steers. They're very, very unique. Then the young man's calf comes next up to here. Slick-haired calf, super, super long body. Boy, the side view, think about the number of ribeyes you're going to get out of the carcass. That calf can yield. Love the length of spine, the length of top of that one. Calf just needs to be more mobile on these hind too. I'd like to see more flexible when you put it in motion. Most of the class.
Okay, now we're going to show for Champion Key. So we're bringing back our top two out of each class, as well as the second place calves. So in this one we have Cora Miller, Kylan Ford, Shayla Sanzik, and Landon Sheets.
Congratulations to all the exhibitors of these two key classes. Great set of calves to work through, where style and balance and structure and muscle are concerned. I think as you differentiate these two steers, the young lady's calf that won that second class needs to be your champion key. Congratulations. We're going to go ahead and pull up this gray steer back here behind me. You know, you think about ones that just have a little more presence to them, a little more style and eye appeal. Well, I think that gray steer fits nicely in that mold, and he's going to be reserved in this particular division. Congratulations. Then again, as we sort the third and fourth positions, we use this class winner out of that first class. That steer's got a really nice advantage in structure, like that calf when you put him at the travel. Young lady's black calf will be in the fourth position. Congratulations again to all you exhibitors.
Class 6 Hereford coming into the ring is Savannah Elliott, Kyler Fipple, Clay Miller, Isla Worsler, and Sydney Hawk. With Class 8 Herefords, please make their way to the arena. Hayden Casper, Anna Wetling, Kobe Fipple, Regan Harder, and Lillian Hooker.
I can't tell you for sure this is the first class of Hereford steers. I know that for certain. This is a good class out here. Really good job by these kids on a couple of steers up here. They're a little tougher to handle. But calf we're going to start with, I recognize, like to modify him a little bit in his hip structure. He's a little round out of his hip, like to elevate him in his pin set when you make him travel. But from a fed steer perspective and a finished steer perspective, there's one that feeds lots of muscle out of his top line. He's widening his loin, deepening his quarter calf that I think from a cutability standpoint you're going to like very, very well. And I think he'll fit really nicely as we bring these cattle back for the champion drive. Calf in second, I asked this brother and sister, I think it is, I said, well, if this calf takes two people to show him, is he one I need to be concerned about putting my hands on him and getting kicked? And the sister goes like this, and the brother goes like this. So I said, you guys remind me of my kids. We don't have the same answer to all the questions either very often. But that's a good calf as well. I like his structure better than the class winner. He's square hip, leveler design. When you get behind him, he's just a little more tapered to the ground. Not as much muscle expression in that calf as maybe would be ideal. And I think that's where he gets beat. I think that's where he needs to fit in that second position. But really good job by those pair of young kids. Calf in third. I love the length of body in this dark red calf. Love the shape of top that he brings. He's a big hip one. I like him from the rear view. Would just like to change him on the move as well. I'd like to lengthen him out of his hip, lengthen him from hooks to pins, see him just a notch more flexible and comfortable out of his hop when you study his pattern of movement. Next young man's calf, I'll tell you what, that's a highly presented, highly fitted calf. This is his first year. 4-H first year showing, so we're super proud of him, and I love the performance that he did. Calf is long body, deep sided, just a finer featured calf. He just needs to be a little stouter at both ends of his body, and I moved him on up in class. Close the class here with a calf just a little harder to handle, a little harder to evaluate today, but one that's just a little deeper in his front end than he is in the back. That throws his balance off a notch. We'd like to stout him up at either end, but good class of Hereford steers. Congratulations.
Okay, we'll bring Class 7 Hereford into the ring. Adriana Brenner, Gretchen Kiko, Lila Toussaint, Calvin Kiko, Kenley McCracken. All right, we have our grand champion carcass, Paige Anderson. First steer graded prime. He's hanging at the Blaisdell right now. He's interested. And then we have Kyler Fimple, who's a first year. He was reserve grand champion carcass. So So let's get a round of applause for these two. In this class, we have Layla Tassat. She was actually first place in junior skill up on last Sunday.
just a powerful set of Hereford steers here. The top two cattle are close in my mind, both really stout made, both really impressive from behind. This pair to me gets sorted based on structure. I think the calf we're going to use to win, just freer and easier out of his hip. He's square from hooks to pins, handles that hind leg just a notch better than the calf in second. I like how he's lower set, a notch wider based. Really like that calf in terms of freshness, handle, and condition. He balances really well at the side view. The stouter featured calf has just got more to him, I'll certainly admit, as the calf in second. Here's one that's super long-bodied and really deep. Calf has just got lots of power through his hip. He doesn't blend these parts and pieces maybe quite as nicely as the class winner. It's a notch more open in his shoulder, got a little rounder in his hip, just doesn't have quite that square and symmetry that you find in the class winner. Young lady in the third position, this is her first year showing, and man, she does a good job. I love that shirt, love the way she's dressed. She's super professional, really easy to find out here, and does a great job presenting her steer. That calf's good at the side view, and I like the way he's designed in his hip. Love the squareness and levelness to his lines. He's one that's a little flatter in his quarter. He's not as full as muscle, not as powerfully made from behind as the top pair of cattle, but a good steer to fit in that third position. Then another powerfully made calf is the young man's in fourth. That calf looks a little shorter just because of the guy that's on the other end of the halter. He's a basketball player, and that doesn't ever help any calf look taller. But that's a good steer as well. Square made, really dense body. You put that calf up at the travel, he gets just a little choppier in his movement, maybe not quite as comfortable off of either end, but a really dense body. It's three-dimensional kind of steer in that fourth position. Close the class here with a steer that's just a little plainer in his look, maybe not quite as comfortable in how that calf travels off those hind two. Really good class of Herefords here, a really good pair of calves up on top. Congratulations.
All right, we have our Class 8 Herefords coming into the ring, meeting Casper, Hannah Wetling, Toby Pimple, Reagan Harder, and Lily Booker. Class 9 main Anju, please make your way to the arena. Kelly Wursler, Calvin Cagley, Braxton Charters, Ashley Wetling, and Maxwell Pugh. Class 9, Main Andrew in the holding area, Callie Wolfsler, Calvin Kegley, Braxton Charters, Ashley Wetling, and Maxwell Pugh. Class 10, Main Andrew, please start making your way up. Gunnar Osborne, Danny Sutherland, Isla Wursler, John Poptic, and Harper Miles.
Very interesting class, a little tougher from my perspective to piece together. I think we're presented with some differences in types and kinds of cattle, some lessons of contrast up and down the class. This year we're going to start with, admittedly, I'd like to open him up in his rib, soften him down to his flank just a little bit when you talk about volume and capacity, but from a cutability standpoint, a marketability standpoint, here's a calf that's got lots of product in him, lots of muscle, lots of red meat. Big top, he'll open up a big ribeye on the rail. He'll be a high cutability kind of calf when you study the muscle shape that's in him. Yeah, you just change a few things at the side of you, but really like that calf when I get behind him. Calf at second, I like the pattern, profile, and softness of rib that you find in this calf. He does have the advantage in terms of volume, capacity, just internal dimension to his body as you compare him to the class winner. But when you get behind him, he's a little flatter in his quarter, not quite as stout in his muscle shape. For those reasons, I think he needs to fit in that second position. I ended up be in the third position. Actually, the young lady turning down down here to my left. She's got two calves in the class, but the calf turning next, I think fits nicely in that third position. Stout featured, big-footed kind of a steer. He wants to be a little deeper in his chest, a little higher in his flank. That throws off his balance just a little bit from the side view as you compare him to the top two steers, but again, he's going to be a high cutability calf that feeds lots of muscle out of his top line. Next calf in line, I like the profile. He's really long-bodied, really good in terms of his length of hip. It's just at both ends he tends to taper up just a little bit. I'd like to stouten that steer up at both ends of his body to use him any higher in the class. Then the dark red steer back here on the right, young lady's hanging in there, and some days steers just don't want to be shown as much on a cool day here at the Stark County Fair, but appreciate you hanging in there. Like the dark red color pattern in that calf, like the bone and stoutness he's got. He just needs to be smoother made, a little more correct in terms of his structure. Close the class here with a calf that's a real long body, really straight in these lines. Again, just need to modify him a notch in terms of his structure. But good job all the way through. Really good set of Herefords in this class. Congratulations.
Okay, now we're going to pick the champion reserve Herefords. So coming into the ring will be Isla Wursler, Adriana Brenner, Nikki Casper. For your first place competitors, the reserves will be Clay Miller, Richard Kiko, Toby Fenton. We need Class 9 up to the arena. Callie Wursler, Serene Andrews, Callie Wursler, Calvin Cagley, Braxton Charters, Ashley Wemley, Maxwell Pugh. Class 10 main Andrew, Gunnar Osborne, Davey Sutherland, Ella Wursler, J.T. Popick, and Harper Motts. Please make your way up. Well, congratulations to all these Hereford exhibitors. I'll tell you what, just kind of an inordinate amount of Herefords for a county fair. It's been fun to sort through these three classes. And congratulations to all the exhibitors and all the breeders behind them that may be evaluating them along ringside. I think it gets close here between a couple of these steers. The calf that won that first class, he's a good made, stout featured calf. I think his balance gets off just a notch at the side compared to those two steers behind him, but I think he does fit nice out here in this champion consideration.
calf that won that second class, I like the moderation of stature in him and the width of his body. Super deep body, deep rib, lots of volume and internal dimension in that calf. A real soft rib shape to him as well. He's got a good fat steer, finished steer look to him, a very three-dimensional body type. Then the real muscular steer of the three is the one that won the third class. That calf's got tremendous amount of expression in his forearm, back of his stifle, back from his hip. You like him most at the rear view, just tremendously thick-ended. A calf that will be a high cutability steer. So some differences in types and kinds out here. Depends a little bit on where some of your priorities lie as a show judge. We're going to use the young lady's calf out of the second class. Congratulations. I think this young lady's calf pulling up in second certainly deserves kind of an honorable mention. That's a good steer that fits really well out here as well. Powerfully made, big bone, rugged design calf. It's super thick from end to end. Maybe a little wastier through his brisket, not quite as tidy up through his front end as a couple of those others, but a very, very stout featured one you like quite well. I think it's close again as we consider him for reserve. We use the young man's calf out of the third class. Congratulations. Sorting down through them here, again with a continued focus on stoutness and muscle and powerful kind of steers. I think there's another one that fits nicely and logically for me in this next position, and that's the young lady's calf out of the middle class there that was second. Congratulations. All right, then we sort down through them again, and I think the next place to go is this young man's calf here on my left, second in that last class. Really nice job. Congratulations. Then we'll pull these two calves out of that lighter weight class. Class winner to my right, and the second place over here to my left. Congratulations to all these Hereford exhibitors.
Take a couple seconds to do some ring maintenance, and then we'll have class 9 meeting. So for the Hereford division, we had Adriana Brenner as the grand champion Hereford. Hayden Casper was reserved. We have Class 9 main age coming into the ring. Callie Worsler, Calvin Kegley, Braxton Charters, Ashley Wentling, and Maxwell Pugh. If we could get Class 11 Shorthorn headed up to the ring, three pitchers: Lillian Hooker, Kelly Brenner, Elizabeth Ashley, William Kegley, and Hayden Casper.
This way.
Attention on the fairground, when the automobile light, again,
I don't know if y'all got to see it from the stands, but his eyes were bigger than anything when I said you're going to be first. That's what this is all about. This is his first year, too. Yeah. That's a good steer to win. I just love the style and symmetry that calf's got. Really square made and nicely balanced at the side. But you get behind him, he's sure got everything he needs to back it up. Big hip in him, wide based, wide tracking steer that really fits up here and makes a nice class winner. Congratulations. Then I think it gets a little closer in second and third position. I'm going to use this young man's black baldy calf here. I just think he's bigger stature, longer bodied, probably fits the class winner a little nicer in terms of his pattern, in terms of his style and symmetry. At both ends, you just like to widen that dude up a little bit, give him a notch more muscle expression, especially down lower in his quarter, but a good pair of steers up here on top. Then I'm going back to this dark red and white calf here with the young lady in the third position. That calf's a little shorter coupled, maybe needs to be a little bigger framed, a little longer bodied compared to the two steers at the top of the class, but I like the way this steer's made structurally. He has an advantage over the two steers that we closed with, just being square hip, freer movement at the travel, and I think for those reasons needs to fit up here. Close the class down here with a pair of steers. You'd modify their hip structure. Both those cattle want to get round in their hip. They drop their pins as they go. I'm going to favor the calf that's just got more body, more volume to him in the red and white calf, and then close here with this black calf that sure he's thick enough. I like him from behind, but again, you just like to change his pattern of movement. Really good job. Great steer up on top. Congratulations.
Okay, coming into the ring next is Class 10, main Anjou. You have Gunnar Osborne, Danny Sullivan, Isla Worsler, J.C. Popick, and Harper Mons. Class 11 Shorthorns, please be in the holding area. Lillian Booker, Kelly Brenner, Elizabeth Ashley, William Cagley, Hayden Casper, Class 12 Shorthorn, please make your way up through the arena. Riesling Barstow, Megan Courtney, Andrew Wentling, and and Riesling Barstow.
Was a cool steer to win this class of mains. Just really, really thick-ended, dense body, low set, sits out wide at all four corners. I'd like to drop that calf just a little squarer in his front leg column, but when you put him at the travel, he's sounder moving maybe than you think to stand. And just a good hair coat on that calf, really great presentation. That calf's good in his handle, one that you get him on the rail, you're going to like him really well. The calf in second, the calves in third, they're sure a lesson in contrast. To my eye, I'm going to elect you to use the one that's fresher. His handle just a little better in his front end. His shoulder blade lays onto his rib cage a little more correctly. Love the body, the freshness, and the softness in that particular steer. Like the soundness in that calf when you put him at the lead. I recognize that maybe the heaviest muscle calf in the class is the one in third. You can't deny how wide top and wide base that calf is. The young lady's got a really great presentation to that calf as well. To my eye, that calf's a little more influenced by fat than maybe you would realize. You put your hands on him, he's just a little softer than I would prefer, maybe a little bit beyond ideal in terms of his cover. The next calf in line, real long-bodied steer. I like him very, very much at the side. He's one, when you put him in motion, he wants to get up underneath himself on those hind two, maybe not quite as comfortable and have to travel than those steers up ahead of him in line. Then close the class on the big frame, long-bodied one. At both ends of that calf, again, we just need to stout him up, give him a notch more visible muscle to use him any higher. But a really good class again, a great, great steer to start. Congratulations.
Okay, now we will bring the top main calves back in. We have Calvin Cagley, J.T. Popick, which are the top to their classes, and then Maxwell Pugh, and Danny Sullivan, were second in their classes. Class 11 Shorthorn, please be in the makeup area. William Booker, Kelly Brenner, Elizabeth Ashley, William Cagley, Hayden Casper. Class 12 Shorthorns, please be up here to get your pictures. Rizzick Barstow, Megan Courtney, and Andrew Wendell.
Congratulations to these main exhibitors. Two really good classes with two good class winners to be out here to champion. Both these guys can show really well. I recognize the young man, it's just his first year doing it, but I've seen some seniors in showmanship sometimes that maybe he could take them to school a little bit on how to do it. Doing a great, great job. I think there's only one thing you can do and one thing you can justify from a placing standpoint, and that's to use the young man's steer that won that second class. Congratulations. Great pattern. good line cattle that balance up really nice. The profile, I'm going to use the one that's just a little bigger, a little stouter. That's the young man's second place out of that second class. Congratulations. Then we'll close off with pulling these two steers first and second like they were out of that class. We use the young man here on my right, and the second place out of that division over on the left. Good job, everybody. Congratulations.
So your main Andrew steer class's grand champion is JT Popnik. Reserve is Danny Sullivan. We have class 11 Shorthorn. Please come into the ring. Lily Booker, Kelly Brenner, Elizabeth Ashley, William Cagley, Hayden Casper. We can get the class 13 Seventhalls headed up for pitchers. Dominic Emer, Ashley Wembley, Elizabeth Ashley, and Kelly Brenner, please come up now.
congratulations to this young man. That's a good class, a good pair of steers up here. I like a lot of things about both these cattle. There's just some differences in them. Young man that's bringing back the mullet here. We're going to use him to win the class. That calf's really good in terms of the structure. Really stylish, really eye-appealing out here. I like how that calf's opened up in the barrel of his rib, big and open in his heart, soft in his rib. Just a good calf in the side view as well. If you change him at all, I'd like to strengthen him right in behind his shoulder. That calf gets a little tight, a little pinch right in there behind his blade. But boy, that's picking on an awfully good steer. The steer in second, I'll tell you, that calf wins this class in many dimensions. He's heavier muscled than the calf that wins, probably just a little stouter featured, probably a little wider base. I cannot in good conscience have that calf win the class just on the basis of structure. We just need to get that calf freed up off both ends. He just really has labored in his travel, and for that reason he needs to be in second. But boy, that's a good show steer otherwise. Really, really stout made one in second position. Calf in third, I think it gets a little closer down here. The red-necked roan calf turning next will be in that third position. And here's a big body, oak-ribbed one that's really opened up in his rib cage, deep in his flank. Got that really good finished steer look to him. As you compare him to the top pair of calves, he's flatter in his quarter, doesn't have quite as much muscle right through the center part of his hip, so I think he needs to fit in that third position. But a good finished steer. That steer handles really, really well in his rib. Close the class with a couple calves down here that are greener today. To me, they need to be pushed ahead in terms of their finish. 4 days on feed, and I think you like these calves better. I'm going to favor the red and white calf over the black one. Just a little more length, just a little more to that steer, but two really nice steers to close with. Congratulations to these exhibitors.
Pitchers, Dominic Eamer, Ashley Whitley, Edith Ford, Elizabeth Ashley, Kelly Brenner.
deep in his heart, really deep in his rib, and opened up right through the center part of his body, like that calf from behind as well. He's wide pinned and carries that advantage down low in his quarter. Big hip, got plenty of product to him. Really good job getting him finished and getting him to a logical market-ready endpoint. The black and white calf that we have in second, really, really long body. I like that calf a lot. From the side view, you study it when he comes around the corner here, just tremendously long-bodied, high cutability steer. But one, as you compare him to the class winner, he's a little higher in his flank. He doesn't have quite as much muscle and true natural thickness right into the center of his hip when you watch him walk away from him. Good steer to the side, though, and a really nice pair up here on the top end of the class. I think it gets closer as we place the third and fourth positions. For me, I'm going to use the young lady's red calf. A little harder to get a good look at him. He's struggling with the halter out here today, but when he stops, he's a great balanced, square-made kind of a steer. Again, like some of these others, you just need a little more tilt when you get behind them as you compare them up to the class winners. Close the class with a calf that the young lady's done a great job getting it finished. He doesn't blend these parts and pieces maybe quite as smoothly as those others, just not quite as comfortable off these hind two legs when you put him in the travel. But good job all the way through. Congratulations to you Shorthorn exhibitors.
Winning class 14 Simmental up in the holding area. Matt Wetling, Drew Engel, Anna Wetling, Cheyenne Myers, and Drew Engel. Please make your way up.
Well, this Shorthorn division's been really competitive. I like these two steers a lot. Congratulations to both you exhibitors. As you differentiate the two class winners, to my eye, the young man's black calf out here on the right, really sound in his structure. Not maybe as thick or as powerful as some of the other calves in these classes, but I really like the way this calf gets around the ring. He's really fresh in his handle, really youthful and really good in his structure. Blue roan calf, I love the depth of heart, the softness of rib, the internal dimension that calf's got. That's a great finished steer look, just like the symmetry that he has and the balance he has as well. Big hip, square hip calf that's really good with the structure. When you talk about show ring presence and just kind of that extra notch of high appeal, I think the young man's calf out of this first class wins the division. Congratulations. Bringing up this young lady's black calf. As we talked to him in class, man, a powerfully made, dense body steer. Just I think that steer is tremendous as a stand. As we talked in before, just need to free him up in terms of his structure and make him more competitive. We're going to use the young lady's blue roan calf. How about that second? Congratulations. And then again, with a continued focus on structure, I'm going to go back to this young man's calf here for third, and the young lady's white calf on my right for fourth. Congratulations again to all you short-form exhibitors.
Calls. You might head this way also. Caitlin Whitley, Caitlin Thorne, Matt Whitley, Andrew Whitley, and Caitlin Whitley. No question in my mind where to start this class. This young lady's got powerhouse and steer
super wide chested, kind of carries that base width right back through his underline and wide tracking from behind, and all that's due to muscle and power and shape in that calf. Really got a great finished look to him. His steer handle's great, and he's a good structured one as well. Congratulations, that's a great place to start. A little closer in second and third. I like the calf in second that's a little longer bodied, one that just probably got a little more depth to his flank. He's got a little more depth to his quarter than the calf in the third position. Admittedly, I'd like to free that guy up just a little bit off his hind two legs. The calf in the third position, he's a little deeper fronted, deeper chested as well. I'd like to just clean that, both them steers up, get them cleaner in their brisket and elevate them in their chest form. Close the class with a quick maturing calf. Just ran out of gas in terms of his body type and build. We changed that steer on the move as well. Congratulations again to these exhibitors. Really good class of steers.
All right, class 14 Simmental coming into the ring. Matt Wentling, Drew Engel, Hannah Wentling, Cheyenne Myers. Class 15 Simmental, please be up in the holding area. Caitlin Wentling, Caitlin Thorne, Matt Wentling, Andrew Wentling, Caitlin Wentling.
class of 70 steers. This red calf we're going to use to win. There's a lot of great parts about that calf, but admittedly, we're going to have to free him up just a little bit in his structure. He's the best calf in the class, no question. Brings forth the most favorable things, but I think I'd sure like to see that guy just a little freer and easier when you put him at the lead. Given that, though, boy, he is a wide-based, really wide skeleton calf. Got lots of muscle in him. He feeds a lot of muscle out of his shoulder, wide in his loin and wide back through his pin. Just a really, really dense-bodied one, and a calf that's really good in his handle as well. Real fresh in his cover. Really good carcass kind of a calf when you think about it from a meat animal standpoint. Black Baldy calf, the young lady coming next in line. Here's a calf that gives up just some stoutness and some power compared to the class winner, but boy, you love this calf's soundness. He's a free moving calf, drives out of his front end really nice, good on those hind two, maybe just not quite as much of him as the class winner today, but he's super stylish, super good profiling, gives you a great look from the side. Same story for the next young man's calf. I like how up-headed he is. He's really clean-fronted, smooth-shouldered, and long-bodied. The calf wants to taper just a notch in the lower third of his body. I'd like to open that steer up in his body cavity, make him more like those top two steers. Then I close the class with a pair of steers here. Both of them belong to the same exhibitor, I think, down there on the end. I'm going to favor the calf that's just a little better in his front end, a notch more up-headed, probably a notch nicer balanced in the side view. Both those steers are real correctly finished. They just need to be a little stouter featured, show a notch more evidence of muscle from it. Congratulations to all of these exhibitors. Very nice job. congratulations in this class. There's a lot of cool things going on. This young lady's got a handful of the steer here that we're going to start with, but when you get a good look at him, you can see the good in him. He's really wide-based, big pin, got a great big hip in him, and for those reasons, he's going to be a high cutability steer, going to yield a lot of product to him. A calf that's really good in his structure. I like this calf in the travel, a calf that's real comfortable off both ends, and I think wins the class pretty handily. Congratulations. I think it gets a little closer then in the second and third position. I think the steer that's got more natural muscle and power in him is the one we've got in second. Young man in the blue shirt turning back there for us. That calf just got more muscle in his indicators like forearm and stifle, got more shape to his top. I recognize that calf just isn't the prettiest one out here. He's a little plainer in his design, doesn't balance up super nice to the side, but you know, from a finished steer and fed cattleman standpoint, I think that calf needs to be up here in this top pair. Calf in third, one that you just like from a depth of body standpoint. There's a big rib, big volume steer. That'd be the calf turning back there in the green. You know, that calf just got a really, really soft look to his rib. Even compared to the top two calves, he needs to be stouter made. They have more substance of bone, more evidence of muscle, just a little bit more stoutness when you get behind it. But a great structured, deep-bodied steer, real correct and finished steer. The young man turning next to mine, I want to congratulate him especially. This is his 10th year and his last year in 4-H. And so I hope that his experience as a 4-H'er will springboard him into his career, and we're very, very proud of him for 10 years in 4-H. That's awesome. Congratulations. Really, really stout-made calf. That calf just wants to get up in his top a little bit. I'd like to just level that calf and his hip and his top line when you watch him travel. But real stout-made, big hip kind of a calf in that position. Close the class with this young lady's red calf. Love the length of body in that calf. Love the straightness of lines. When you get behind him, he just kind of tapers down at the ground. He doesn't handle those hind legs maybe quite as good as he should, but a calf that's really, really deep body. Congratulations again to all these exhibitors.
Now we're going to show for champion Simmental. We have Elizabeth Ashley, Cheyenne Myers, Caitlin Thorne. On another note, Cheyenne is our first place intermediate skillathon winner. Again, my congratulations to you Simmental exhibitors. Great, great class of steers through here, and these top class winners out here in these three classes I think are very deserving to be out here for champion consideration.
as I kind of sort through them, to me, there's two steers that are stouter featured, have a little more to them. They're more three-dimensional. They're cattle that are wider base with more muscle. Those are the steers that won those first two classes on my right here. Those two steers are just tremendous in terms of their base width. As you take those two steers into consideration, consider structure and movement out here, kind of sort them out that way, I think the young lady's black steer's got the advantage that way. He's going to be the champion. Let's pull the second place calf in. This red calf, I'll tell you what, this young lady, I'm sure she's worked her heart out. You can tell there's been a lot of homework done on this calf. He's highly presented, highly fitted. Love this steer at the stand. He's a good structured steer when he's standing still. Love the way he's shaped out of his hip. I love the front end of that calf. You put him at the lead though, he's just so choppy in his stride. I just can't get him any place other than reserve. He does fit in reserve. Congratulations, young lady. Let's pull the second place steer up then in that class, and I think it gets a lot closer. We've got a trio of steers left to consider that are a little bit different in their type and kind. They're all three black balding calves, but you know, from a carcass standpoint, I think there's one steer that just has a little more to it. It's got a little more muscle, it's got a little more style and presence out here. That's the calf that won the third class. Congratulations. Keep sorting down through here, and again, we're left with some steers that still bring forth quite a bit of quality, quite a bit of power. They're good finished steers with good muscling to them. I think the steer that has the next amount of style and symmetry to it, balance, and kind of a show steer presence is this young lady's calf here. Congratulations. They close things out with two steers that are a little different in their kind. The baldy steer on the right's longer body. I like the length of spine. I like the length of hip and hip. Black calf here is a deeper body. Probably has a little more muscle. I think he's stouter featured. Probably has a notch truer muscle shape. He's going to be next in the young lady's ball. Congratulations again to all you 7-12 readers.
Raver, Nate Thomas. Class 17 crossbred in the holding area, Peyton Walker, JT Popick, Levi Birch, Jolson Pico. Class 18 crossbreds start heading up to the barn for pitchers, Zach Schrock, Lucas Booker, Shayla Sanzik, and Lisa Merritt.
coordination. Looking good.
crossbred steers now, and this Charolais cross steer wins pretty handily to me. Just an incredible specimen in terms of muscle shape. Calf that feeds lots of muscle out of his shoulder, carries that advantage through his loin, back through his hip. He's a wide track and wide base steer, one that'll be a high cutability steer on the rail, but still has good freshness and handle to him. Black and white steer that comes next. Here's one that follows the pattern I like really well in terms of that side view being really long, straight in these lines, good in his hip, good in his structure. As you differentiate him from the class winner, this steer in second doesn't have quite as much muscle to him. He's just not quite as stout. Down low in his body, maybe doesn't have quite as much power, not quite as much base width. But a good steer in second, and I think that makes a real stylish pair up there. The young lady's calf in third. This is an interesting calf to evaluate. Super deep bodied, highly fitted steer. Love the rib shape in that guy. Love the finish and cover he's got on him. You put that calf in the travel, he's more upright in his joints than we would prefer, and that causes him to be just a little choppy. He's striding a little choppy in the way he moves, and so he needs to fit in that third position. But she's done a great job getting into a logical, market-ready kind of an endpoint, a great handling steer in that third position. Close the class down here with a pair of steers that are just a little greener in their kind. We modify them in terms of their structure just a notch. I favor the black Baldy calf. Just has a little more degree of finish to him. I think a little more market ready than the black calf that we closed with. Congratulations to all you exhibitors in this first crossbred.
Okay, coming in next, class 17, Nate Walker, J.T. Popick, Levi Birch, Jolson Kiko, class 18 in the holding area, Zach Schrock, Lucas Booker, Kayla Sanzig, Lisa Merrick. Please bring class 19 crossbred up, Anthony McCracken, Landon Sheets, Levi Birch. Attention in the barns, if anyone wants more pictures of your steers, you can come up to the ring. We've got a little form to fill out to get that done for you.
mobility and structure issues to work through in these steers. And, you know, the class winning steer here, he's got some things you change about him in terms of the way he's designed. I recognize that. I'm not going to harp on that. He's still the best steer in the class, one that's got tremendous shape to his top, big old hip in him, wide tracking. Calf is just chock full of product, and really, really good finish, really good handle over that steer's rib. Calf at second. He's probably the biggest, stoutest one of the group. I really like the bone work, the substance underneath this particular calf. He's one that's got a lot of gauge and center body width to him, but he doesn't blend these pieces and parts maybe quite as nicely. That calf is more open in his shoulder. That causes him to break just a little bit behind his shoulder blade. I'd just like for him to be pulled together, maybe just a little nicer in his stand. Then we got a black and white painted up steer in the third position. This calf's great in his top line. He's one of the straightest, strongest top calves we've seen so far in the crossbred division. I like the balance, I like the symmetry that you get out of this steer. It's when you put him in motion, he gets into the third position. To me, that calf's too upright in the angles of his joints, and that causes him just to be a little uncomfortable when you put him in the travel. Close the class here with a calf that's big, stout, long body, just a little plainer in his design, maybe not quite as much balance, not quite as much symmetry in that particular calf. But really, really good set of crossbred steers. Let's give these kids another big hand.
All right, Class 18 crossbreds coming into the ring. Zach Schrock, Lucas Booker, Sheila Sanzik, and Lisa Merrick. Class 19 crossbreds, please be in the holding area. Anthony McCracken, Landon Sheets, and Levi Burge.
Well, this young lady's black steer is a great example of what soundness ought to look like in a show steer. I know a lot of folks say, well, why does soundness matter? Because they're going into the food chain here next week anyway, so why does it matter if they're sound? And I think the answer to that is that from an industry standpoint, we need to breed cattle that are functional. They need to work. And so this steer has a sire and a dam somewhere, and we got to appreciate that about those cattle when you talk about breeding cattle. This steer's got a great look to him as well. He's super up-headed, really attractive, awesome profile to him. You know, if you want to pick on him a little bit, he isn't the heaviest muscle steer that ever lived, but I think he's adequate in terms of his thickness from behind. And then again, you just so much have to appreciate the soundness that he brings forward. That's a real problem in the show steer business, is finding the cattle that are sound as that one is. And highly presented. You can tell there's been a lot of work done back at home getting this calf ready for this very day. So congratulations, that's a really nice place to start. Calf in second. This individual, I said, how are you doing today? And they said, I'm stressed. I said, well, I appreciate your honesty. So, but that's part of life, and you know, you're going to have a boss someday that makes you as frustrated as your show steer, so this is good practice. But really good calf that fits nicely in that second position, really opened up in his rib. I like the way that calf's got a big barrel to him. Maybe not quite as stout right down in the lower part of his quarters, the class winner, not quite as free and easy at the travel, but he makes a nice pair up here in this second position. The lower long-bodied red calf and the third hole calf that you like so much beside you for his performance, his length, his stature, and scale. He's just a little plainer in his look. You'd like to drop him down his flank and elevate him his chest more. I think that'd help that steer in terms of balance at the side. Mosa class is a real long-bodied steer that's got some muscle to him, but a calf with change in terms of his structure. Here's one that's just not as comfortable off of both ends of his skeleton. Congratulations again in this class. Great steer to start.
All right, our last class of crossbreed steers and last class of steers for the day, before we go to the champion round, is for the market beef show today, Patterson Specialty Services. And I'd also like to recognize a couple companies that work with the beef committee throughout the year for tractor and equipment. Vice Carver Trucking.
include our crossbred division. I'm going to use a steer that's lower set, wider base, probably heavier muscle than the other two steers out here. I think he's more moderate in his stature. And I'll be the first to recognize that steer's plenty mature in his head for me. Probably not just the freshest steer that ever was, but I think the calf needs to win in terms of his design, his style, and balance. And you look at him from a meat animal standpoint, boy, he's got a lot of muscle, lots of thickness, and lots of product to him. I like this calf in second. He's the heaviest of the three. Tremendously big scale, long bodied calf. These packers and processors want these cattle as heavy as ever, and this calf will fit really great from an industry perspective. I like the way that calf's finished. Good in his handle, really fresh in his cover. Probably has the advantage over the class winner in terms of how he handles over his rib. Close the class there with a big body, really deep bodied calf, but a calf that's probably a little advanced in terms of his maturity and his cover today. He wants to be a little deeper in his chest, maybe not quite as stout off his hip and hind leg, but a really good trio of steers up here in this heavy class. Congratulations to all three exhibitors.
Thank you. Now we're going to pick Grain and Reserve crossbred steer. I'd like to thank some of our trophy and banner sponsors for the steer show today. Brenner Trucking, Plus and White Cattle, Creek Bottom Farm, Dean and Charlie Ward, Dirt Donkey Customs, Espresso Pizza, First Defense, thank you Vincent, Green Driven Labradors, Green Valley 4-H with Gloria Wentling, Chico Meats, Kobe Electric, Mackey Farms, and Maxheimer Family Stock Farm. If you're interested in sponsoring trophies, banners, or other awards for the Junior Fair, whether it's the steers or other projects, you can stop at your fair office and they can get you on a list for contact for next year.
Well, this has been fun. This is a good competitive set of crossbred steers. Been great classes to work through today. Tell you what, all these steers are just tremendous in terms of the power, the natural muscling they've got in them. These are going to be high cutability cattle, good carcass cattle, but they're also good show steers, and that's really fun to see. As you sort out kind of which ones surface out of these four, I'm going to place a continued focus on soundness. I think soundness is important among a group of steers that all have enough product in them. All of these steers have enough to them in terms of a meat animal standpoint. The one that really surfaces that way is that show steer out of that third class. Congratulations. it gets a little closer here for reserve, there's some differences in types and kinds, stature perhaps of these cattle. Again, the one that to me got the great show steer look to him and really has the show ring presence is this young man's calf right in front of him. Congratulations. Another good steer pulling in here, this black and white calf. As we talked to him in class, he's super stout made, really rugged in his design. You'd modify him a little bit in terms of structure, maybe just as you would in a couple of these other steers as we talked. But again, I want to try to keep putting pressure on structure here, and for that, to keep that in mind, we're going to use the young man's calf out here to the right. Congratulations. Black and white calf coming in here. I love the style of the balance. And that guy from the side view, he's a little greener today. He's one that's just a little bit off in terms of days on feed, maybe not quite the maturity you find in the steers that stand behind him. I'm going to go and work back here to this big heavy steer next. Congratulations. I think it gets close, then you got to kind of sort through some differences in finish, some differences in type and kind. I'm going to stick with this stalking legacy here right in front of me next. Next, we'll use the steer that I think combines product and stoutness and style to the highest degree of the remaining three. That's this black steer here on my left. Congratulations. For the remaining two, we're going to use the steer that's just got more finish, probably more days on feed, more advanced in his maturity. For those reasons, I think it's up into the choice of quality grade. Just a little better. This is this red calf right in front of me. Congratulations. Close the class down here. You know, we talked about this calf a couple different times, but I like that calf quite a bit, and he's got a good pattern to him. Just needs to be pushed ahead in terms of his degree of finish, but I think fits really nicely out here at the top end of the show. Congratulations.
All right, that concludes our normal rounds. We're going to take a short couple-minute break, take a bit of a housekeeping break here, and then we'll start bringing in the champions to go pick the overall.
Thank you.